Welcome to the war. Okay, it's time for my third solo battle in our Test of Honor campaign. This game is going to be between the Honda Clan and the Oda Clan. The first time that these two forces have met each other in the campaign series that I'm running here. I'll explain the mission in a minute. It's going to be the ambush mission from the Test of Honor rulebook, and we are bringing over some additional abilities from our previous game, or previous games, I should say. So in this instance, I'll just quickly run through the forces. We've got the Honda Clan here, my favorite mini. That's Honda Tadasuka. He's coming to the battle fresh. Then we've got Honda Yoshihito. He's eager for battle. So much like in the previous game I fought, he's going to be able to take a free turn at the beginning of the game. And we've got our banner bearer here, our musician, our Ashigaru sergeant, one group of archers or bowmen, and then 2 units of loyal spearmen, and one of them has an upgrade that gives them an extra dice and melee damage rolls if there's a friendly character within 3 inches. So good force here. I know after my last battle, I'm just going to bring this up here. I was excited to use the muskets. They really didn't seem to pay off that much, considering they need a whole turn to reload. So I know there are abilities and things that, buffs that can work to their advantage there, but it just didn't really seem to pay off. Anyway, we'll see what happens on this side of the table or with this force. And then over here, with our Oda Clan from last battle, who are going to be the ones holding or carrying the heavy object that's the objective, that little jewel there. But we do have our mounted samurai captain, Oda Nagamasu. As you can see, he's got a blood drop there from the previous battering that he took in the last game. We do have those 2 units of muskets, one with the special buff there, which again, I'm going to harp on this now. This lets them have take a test of wits to get a free reload, but only if they hit, and that's not really that guaranteed. They're not that great. And then I've got 2 units of Ashigaru spears. That marker there at the top is just for me to tell them apart. A group of scouts, the runner again, and the scout sergeant. So those are our forces. Oh, and I should have mentioned, I haven't heard otherwise in the comments, so I am going to leave this skill with the general here, or the leader, and we'll see if that comes to any effect. All right, those are the forces. Let me get deployed and explain the scenario. Okay, deployment. So both sides have set up here. Let me explain the scenario first. So 2 interesting things about this scenario. It's called ambush, although it doesn't really feel like an ambush to me. I mean, you can use the surprise attack rolls, but it's basically a game of capture the flag, or what's the bolt action scenario? Oh, top secret. So in essence, the commander over here has that gem, which represents a package that his force, or he, is trying to get off the opponent's table edge. So all the way over here. If he drops it, which happens if he gets attacked and falls back or cut down or anything like that, or fails or loses a test of nerve or whatever, then he drops it, the other side can take it, and basically whichever side gets this package off the table first is the winner. Which again, doesn't really feel like an ambush, but okay. I'm not gonna get too hung up on that. What is really quirky about this is the scenario setup makes quite a big deal about, or not, I shouldn't say a big deal, but puts some emphasis on creating a road from one end of the board to the other. And I should also say, I turned the orientation of the table from the first segment here, the intro segment, just because I had one force on one side and one on the other. It didn't really make sense to be playing, opposite angles. Anyway, I hope that's not disorienting. But back to this road that goes through the middle of it. The scenario setup makes or emphasizes that, but the rules say that the player just needs to get the token off of the board anywhere. So when I was initially thinking about how we were going to set this up, I thought, okay, well, we're going to have to or this side is really going to have to defend that bridge. This side's really going to have to focus hard here. And I thought, well, really, they could come off. You could come off anywhere. You come up off this hill, which, as of previous games, seems a little tricky to traverse. This side seems fairly uneventful. Like this would be really hard going in that field. Yeah. So the other component here is I'm solo gaming this, so it's a little tricky to, second guess, well, where am I going to put the package and the person carrying it. And I did think about randomly rolling it, but then that kind of, that could be setting up for failure right from the start. So I decided to just keep it here. I am undecided about whether I'm going to try and crack up the left or go for the bridge to get it across. By the same token, there's a pretty good center of the opposing force here. Not ambush; they're right out in the open. They're definitely they're going to be a threat here to get across. And yeah, so no turn limit on this game. It ends when one player gets the package or the thing they're carrying off the other side. It does hinder movement, so that's why I gave it to the mounted character, because he's going to be able to move a little faster with it. But otherwise, yeah, let's get on with the first turn, see how this plays out. Okay, into turn one, or more aptly, the tale of Honda Tadasuke. So, really, I cannot begin to describe how much chaos this lone samurai caused in the game. He got a free activation. He was then able to move into combat, I think now 3 times, mostly because he was just pulling dishonor cards at every opportunity. He caused 2 casualties on the scouts, another casualty on a unit of musketmen, and that's just where he succeeded. There were also points where he was failing as well. And interestingly, again, every time he was rolling these dishonorable strike rolls that caused a couple of, he's already earned the 5 dishonor cards to complete his quest. So I am going to pull a skill card for him before I start the next turn. But interestingly, 2 of the dishonor cards that he pulled required every unit in his army or his warband to roll test of honor or make a fallback action, and that did cause the traveling samurai to actually come off the table, and he was able to come back on. Thankfully, he passed the test of honor to not completely flee, but it got dangerously close for a couple of these units to do that. Outside of that, on the Oda side of the game, again, I'm eating my words here. The muskets were able to, well, even though they didn't cause any damage, they didn't earn any reload markers. And I did pull one of the clan tokens, which, interesting, I was going to say, I don't think those clan skills, they're not as impactful as I thought they were going to be in the game. But anyway, this one might be. They've got a buff to I think it's to their strike rolls based on the musket drills rule. I'll look that up before I start to use it, but I think that's the buff that they get. I did hold back the general over here carrying the objective just because I didn't want him running out completely unopposed. And he did pull tokens pretty early on. But again, that was another thing. Pulling tokens, he used all 3 of his pretty quickly. And then when I was pulling those character tokens, they were going straight over to this bad boy. He was then using them to just dishonorably attack and cause, crazy follow-up attacks and more and more and more. It was phenomenal. Anyway, let's, if you didn't even see, like it caused 1 unit of muskets to be all the way over here. They broke off and failed their test of honor for morale. But yeah, definitely going to see how this shakes out in turn 2. I think we're going to need to start making a move here to get across the road or across the bridge. Here we go. Turn 2 was incredibly chaotic. Let me give you some of the highlights. So once again, Honda Tadasuka went on a bit of a rampage, killing off, I think, another couple of uh, uh, Ashigaru this time, this or the Spearman, again causing some panic tests that really had an impact. So with that being said, it really seemed like the Oda Clan general really needed to get his act together and start making a push, which he did, although somewhat foolhardishly, is that a word? Went out kind of unsupported. I kind of did the math that he's as equally a killer in terms of rolling dice as his opponent or the opponent's general. He didn't seem to have much luck with the dice, so he ended up getting attacked, falling back, dropping the package, which was then picked up by the sergeant there that you can see. So now the Honda clan is in charge of the objective, albeit pretty much right at the halfway point of the table. However, something really interesting occurred with the pulling of one of the fate cards for the Oda clan, which allowed them to turn over or turn face up two of their opponent's dishonor cards, which they promptly did, turning up the ones that forced them to make test of honor or fallback moves for the entire army twice, which they did, which could have been a lot worse, but I thought that was a really cool twist to the game. However, that couldn't compare to the twist inflicted by these completely lone, out of the way musketmen who fired on Honda Tadasuka and took him out. He's gone. So his impact of his crazy rampaging through the village is at an end, at least for this game. But that's definitely, I'm sure, going to be vital in the next couple of turns. I think another couple of interesting things. This lone Ashigaru Spearman over here, I think he started up kind of at the top of the screen there in those corn or in the soybean fields, or the bean field, where the fields, whatever they are, but failed multiple tests or morale tests basically, and then ended up running all the way over here away from the enemies. As you can see, though, closely followed up by the musician there, who also was failing those tests I was talking about, and also fell back. So that being said, there's a very strong block of infantry here with the bannermen. Then we've got our archers here who have been so far ineffective. I know the moment I say that, they're going to probably win the game in the next round. We've got our sergeant here just on the right there with the objective. The runner tried to make a move on it, but didn't quite get there. And then meanwhile, all the way at the back here, who so far has been completely ineffective, Honda Yoshihito. He hasn't done anything yet. Again, those morale tests, they get you. But anyway, I think that's everything important that happened in this turn. Let's see what happens in turn 3. Okay, a pivotal third turn has seen the Oda clan recover the package, killing the Honda sergeant in the process, and then were able to make their way. Oda Nagamatsu was able to capture the package and bring it all the way to the bridge. He would have brought it even further if this lone spearman wasn't in the way to hinder his movement. However, we've got 2 units of spearmen and a bannerman very close on his tail, as well as Honda Yoshihito also making his presence known. And this, I think the next turn is really going to come down to how the tokens are pulled. If the Oda clan can get that guy out of the way with a follower token, that I think that's going to be huge. I have to say, yeah, in this turn, the Oda general really did prove his worth with the dice, and I did utilize his ability, his special card, to add 1 to all of his strike rolls for a turn, and then yeah, that way he was rolling those critical strikes multiple times and really just kind of forcing his way across the table. Outside of that, there wasn't anything too pivotal or outside of the battle. That really was kind of the moment. The archers didn't have too much of an impact. Neither, the muskets reload, or one of them reloaded. Here, again, I do think, they could get a shot at that close unit of spearmen or close to the bridge, I guess. But I think we've got our work cut out for us in our fourth turn. Let's see how it plays out. All right, final turn, and that was the game. So yeah, in a battle that saw Honda Tadasuka completely run rampant down one side of the battlefield, carving his way through a number of scouts and spearmen. Ultimately, the Oda clan was able to take the day, even though Oda Nagamasu dropped the token or the package. He was able to wrestle it from the recovering Honda sergeant's hands, force his way across the bridge and off to the other side of the table. Great game. I really did not think this was going to go the Oda clan's way, both in terms of the Honda general completely, doing a number on one side of the table, and then them losing the package on the other side. But I think that combination of the musket men, taking him out, forcing that, and it's not just him and all of his dice, but it's those tokens. Then requiring, or pulling a hero token out, having already spent them on the rather ineffective traveling samurai here, really meant that they were losing ground pretty fast. And the Honda clan just wasn't able to recover in time, despite being, in fairly hot pursuit getting across this bridge. And they did have a couple of opportunities, but for the most part, it did not go well. And on top of that, again, just anecdotally, I did pull out another clan token on this final turn, again, triggering that ability for them to flip 2 dishonor cards, and again, forcing those test of honor or to fall back. Again, that's I think it was either this earlier on in this video or in the previous video. I said I didn't think those clan proficiencies really did much. That one was super effective. At least situational here. The Honda clan was pulling those dishonor cards like there was no tomorrow. So I guess that did have some sort of an impact. But ultimately, yeah, this was a fun game. It really could have gone either way. At one point that token or the package was completely free and open in the middle of the table, but the Oda clan was able to recover it in time. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this. I'm going to do a quick last segment on the character progression for the campaign. I think that is going to have an impact on Honda Tadasuka. He might carry over another injury. Let's see. Okay, character progression. So a mixed bag here for the Honda clan. Both Honda Tadasuka and Honda Yoshitito have ended or rolled on the drained outcome, which basically means they lose one action token in the next round. However, Honda Yoshitito was able to retain a skill card, and we've kept the Master Forged weapon there, giving him +1 dice on damage rolls. That's pretty useful. However, over here with Honda Nagasuka, sorry, I'm terrible at remembering these names. They're just so foreign. He kept a skill card, the reconnaissance card. Again, I don't see anything that says I can't do that with that type of card. However, on the aftermath chart, he rolled a celebration and he rolled a 1, which basically reads, the character's drunken rowdy behavior lands him in jail for the next night. Your hero starts the next battle with 1 extra face-up dishonor card chosen at random. So that is pretty impactful, I think, but ultimately a victory. And at the end of this game, that means each of the armies has played, or each of the clans and the rebels has played 2 games each. Both won 1 and lost 1, I believe. So it's effectively tied. That's pretty cool. As we go into the second set of 3 battles, again, basically we're playing each army is going to get to play twice. Once as an attacker, once as a defender, and then big battle at the end. So yeah, we're going to see what happens in the next set of 3 games. You know, try to get to them as soon as I can. I'm really kind of on a roll here and enjoying this. Yeah, excited to see what happens next. Thanks for watching.